The internet was open to public availability on April 30th, 1993, by President and Environmental Supreme Lord Al Gore. Within the internet's short 30 years of public domain, the world was treated to blessings and curses that now roam outside the Earth's atmosphere for aliens across the galaxy to cringe at like we did in our pathetic, useless lives. Maybe it was all of this that is the reason why Brainiac decided to attack Earth and corrupt the Justice League, prompting the internet to lose its shit over stupid shit like it always does. I don't know if it's just the first 2 months of the year, if people were mad that their wives are leaving them, or if it's because Santa left a big old pile of shit in their stocking. But the folks of YouTube are at it again with being a single minded tumor of a sheep, parroting the same old valid criticisms they always repeat. Live service games are never good. It's a repetitive gameplay loop with loot tier, and they disrespect Kevin Conroy Batman. Like, bruh, shut the fuck up, please. I think it was the Batman's death scene leak that is where all the anger stems from, like the monstrosity that escapes Pandora's box. Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League is the first major AAA game of the year, and it's mediocre at best, but a fun action enduring video game with a vast empty metropolis and a stylish, wonderful art decor architect. A reciprocal contrast to Rocksteady's Arkhamverse Gotham City and Arkham City Asylum. I saw plenty of reviews and I have to say, y'all are really funny. These are criticisms I do agree with though. Like, why make the game part of the Arkhamverse when it feels like a DCA Elseworld movie? Why darken Deadshot just in time for Black History Month? Why have three of the same characters to play as? Why make it live service when you can dome the game's solo campaign? Why isn't there more variety within missions, collectibles, and skills? I have an answer, not a defense to the shortfalls of the game, but an answer. Algorithm. I had just finished listening to Filter World by Kyle Chaika, and it's about how companies, social media, music, movies, etc. use algorithms to produce and promote certain content you may enjoy or that the greater mainstream is enjoying at the time, thus generating revenue streams, likes, and attention. The ecosystem of the algorithm is still new, especially for visual media content. We conduct our lives in flow, says Cheka, but like a beaver dam, algorithms can prevent innovation, creativity, and freedom, leading both producer and audience into an artificial gatekeeper for if you can't beat them, join them type of consumerism, i.e., mob mentality. And I believe that sums up my review about the game and the backlash towards it. It's all the same thing with no real substance or progressive step in making the game more desirable. So let's break this video up, smash the egos of YouTubers, and tear Metropolis down as the Suicide Squad. So let's take the criticisms I agree with and examine them more. I am very sorry I have somehow turned video game reviews into English analysis style softcore educational TED Talks. This is what one sociology class does to you folks. Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League is a game designed by committee. Why is it connected to the Arkhamverse? This one confuses me as well, because if this was a solo Elseworld kind of universe they had going on, then I think no one would really have been pissed off as they were now. My only answer to this is that the Arkhamverse is still a great saga of video games with an expansive story surrounding the Batman mythos. Why create a new universe where you can half-ass half the game's context and concept you already started with another game's universe? The game does not feel out of loop compared to the games before it. But this is the Suicide Squad after all. People loved the Goofy movie by James Gunn. Why not make these characters and their actions the same? It's easy to copy. Arkhamverse is a cash grab hashtag title for Rocksteady to inflate their numbers with a general interest of the public to leech off of. That's algorithm, folks. Why install tints on Deadshot? Will Smith. Deadshot. That's algorithm, folks. Why do the characters play the same? This one I was going to agree with, but I wake up at 1 a.m. and go to work and listen to books, so I give it more thought and came to conclude that the characters do play differently. They're just the same as in humans with no real powers, just crazy enough to do insane criminal shit with gigs. Both heroes and criminals are the same, and modern characters have been reskins of OG heroes and villains for decades now. The playable Suicide Squad members include Deadshot, an assassin work for hire who leads Task Force X into action. I'm not a fan of Deadshot personally because he's just Will Smith from the movie. Harley Quinn is the same as ever. Now Margot Robbie like in her combat, which isn't a problem, just weird. But I guess it's because she lost her identity when the Joker died, so this is a revamp of who she wants to be now. Captain Boomerang is your stereotypical Australian cunt who is in it for the money, and I am perfectly fine with this generic archetype of comedic relief. And there's King Shark. He's Shark Drax. Trax.
You found the Riddler's hat of invisibility!
They all bounce off each other amazingly and genuinely. They don't take the job serious because they want to escape Waller's grasp, and they all play uniquely, or at least from what I can tell. Yeah, it sucks they all shoot guns, but it's how you flavor your shooting is what gives it style. There's been moments where I leap or evade attacks, then go into my suicide skill and back into shooting. Yes, it's repetitive, but a lot of games are though. It's just what the context of the gameplay is what matters. Witcher 3 is amazing, but you gather ingredients, fight monster, get paid. It's repetitive. Just the different stories behind the missions we get is what makes the missions memorable. COD is the same thing and has been for the past 2 decades, except it somehow is getting worse with every new game they release. COD has that gambling dopamine effect going on for it to earn the skins like Fortnite. Lego games break something, build something, fight bosses, unlock characters, rinse and repeat. I have no problem with repetitive gameplay as long as it keeps me engaged. Back to the combat. Shark is tanky with his melee attacks being more slow, but where he's heavy in the arms, he makes up for being the one who gains the most ground while preferring heavy weapons. Deadshot flies through Metropolis and is able to regain a boost after running his fuel. This helps me with gaining an extra mile or two during exploration. He's a master with snipers and assault rifles, with close combat being another expertise of his gauntlets. Boomerang is OP as fuck in my opinion, and it's funny how it's the developer's way of overcompensating a man whose gimmick is throwing boomerangs during bank heists. He has the best transversal boost among the Suicide Squad with Dr. Sivana's Speed Force Gauntlet, or using his powers to spamming his melee attack after recasting enemies with shotguns and SMGs. Boomerang also is the best to play if you want to have a quick evasion dodging technique. Last but not least is Harley Quinn, who is a fan of pistols, SMGs, and heavy weapons, with her melee being alright. She is the worst transversal in my opinion, with me not knowing how the fuck to do it, and is the least played of my characters. Each character provides something new, and I feel like there were supposed to be an Overwatch class system in early development, but I think that may have gotten scrapped out. Why make it live service? I have no fucking clue why they would make it a live service game other than the fact they developed a game with 4 playable characters, and it seemed like every other game developer that no one really likes single player games anymore. Or it could have been Avengers was made. That's algorithm, folks. I've been playing by myself and have been enjoying it far way better, trust me. The AI works fantastic and even offers cool aesthetics in combat with your combos and special moves being used as if you were playing as them. I think it was Griffin Gaming that bitched about the game not looking as great as Gotham. But, bruh, this is a live service game. So they have to sacrifice something for the bigger picture they envision ahead. And even if it did suffer graphics, the graphics still look fucking amazing and far more better and lifelike than Arkham. Batman looked like he was fucking stiffed, like he was Michael Keaton Batman. He was like, what the hell are you doing? Damn, Gordon, what are you doing? We gotta get fucking Gotham back in order from the throw. Arkhamverse is a single-player game whose resources and attention to detail can be focused on the finer details. Suicide Squad is a live service, which means they always are running live. Not much variety from my liking. This one is very true from the missions to the Riddler challenges to the collectibles or lack thereof. In fact, none at all. These time trials are engaging enough to where you swap between characters to see who can achieve the fastest time. But I do wish they did require villain trials to keep the game more interesting with symbol variety. The missions are kind of a mixed bag for me. The gameplay is engaging enough to keep your mind focused, like Candy Crush. Like Candy Crush, there's a time limit for some missions. This is urgency. Alt took Isigun of games developers state in their article, urgency is a term that is being used in drama theory. It addresses the presence of a threat that inevitably comes at the protagonist and forces him into the action. The protagonist is left with no other option than to deal with the problem because something valuable is at stake. Suicide's mission don't offer much urgency except for saving civilians. Killing enemies or smashing purple dick shaped objects don't do much for me. But the action and repetitive gameplay is what keeps me going. This is where the urgency comes into play. You can't stay still in the video game. You have to be on the move like in Doom. There's a playstyle labeled Running Gunner in the character's description. Small details add urgency to the gameplay. If only Rocksteady had paid attention to the finer details within the game and added those necessary variety to expand the game's massive daft world. Or maybe the lack of side content was a purposely designed choice. Games fall right into the trap where I'm always wondering why the protagonist is even taking time out of the main quest to solve all these random people's problems. I don't care. According to this WordPress article titled "The Problem of Side Quests Games," their argument brings up a valid point. Why are the Suicide Squad going to do side missions for strangers? Why are they doing Riddler's trials when Waller has bombs in their heads? I am a fan of side content if it fits the story and if there is a variety of it. Suicide Squad is lacking in that department simply because of the live service aspect being the main focus. So why do I bring up all this talk about algorithms? In Filter World, there is a section where Cheka explains how algorithms affect creativity. It was a terrible example where they had a friend who made an art and it got into the political side of Instagram, and they quit promoting art on Instagram because of some of the contents, saying how political it was, even though it wasn't a political art. This wasn't a really good example to make that case, so here's my insert to this chapter of that book. I also bring up algorithms because it seems to be the first thing that is leading to the hate train for Suicide Squad. The hate is ridiculous that it's a meme to hate on the game now. I've seen channels where they say it's a terrible and the worst game ever, which is a fat ass lie, when this game has functioned way better than the recent AAA games from 76 to Cyberpunk. Y'all are lying, trying to suck dick on the algorithm's tit before the trend dies. This game isn't disappointing. The game isn't a mess. The game is decent, and I hope they continue to add more to it and extend the game's lifespan. I hope we as a community can realize to play for ourselves and not wait for sellouts, haters, and dick writers to tell you what to buy or what not to buy. I am guilty of listening to reviews like G-Man and GamerX, and I don't let their final word determine what I play or how I will judge the game for myself. It seems like a lot of people didn't get the memo, but they did seem to get the same arguments that don't provide any improvement, help to the game or future content. It's always the same thing. Let's talk about those real fast since we are already on page 4 of my script. YouTubers, aren't they a funny thing? Especially when they all have the same talking heads for a week straight. Now, there are those who are honest with their reviews, where they say the game is fun, the cutscenes are great, and they are just disappointed with the final product because it's mediocre. There are plenty of reviews, though, that are saying the same thing. Live service game sucks. This is the most repetitive one I've heard. Live service games aren't the problem, it's the way it's executed. This game hasn't been given a proper lifespan yet to determine its success. I can only pray Rocksteady keeps updating Suicide Squad. Joker is a bad start in my opinion, but I'll give a game a few months before regrets start setting in. Repetitive gameplay. I already went over this earlier in the video and my stance still stands. People complain about their loot tier weapons, yet still play the new boring COD with the same function, except you pay for the skins like it's CSGO. The cast of misfits is fine enough to push us through mediocrity. Kevin Conroy is the Batman. He will always be the Batman, no matter who voices or wears the cowl for, during, or after his lifespan. Kevin Conroy is the Batman. This we know as a community. This the world knows. Who don't even know Batman knows this is the truth. I don't think there was any disrespect to the Batman by Rocksteady. Everyone who was upset at the game because of Batman's death scene. But it's the name of the game. Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. To say it's disrespectful is dumb when the premise of the game is set up in the title. Harley Quinn has reasons to kill Batman. Every other Justice League member gets killed off quick. Just like Brainiac, the squad needs Batman for their mission to figure out a way to kill Superman. Batman is Brainiac's right hand man, with Batman commanding the army, reconning the squad, and advising Brainiac. Batman is given the due respect by being Batman, just on Brainiac's side. Even when he's killing people, that shit is terrifying because that's Batman's whole thing, is to induce fear within criminals. For God fucking sakes, this isn't Batman from the Arkham series. He died in Arkham Knight. We were left with one final Batman image to scar Gotham, and it was a hellish version of Batman with fire. The exact same one we see in Suicide Squad.
Sure glad that worked.
To say it's disrespectful is dumb when it's a continuation to an already developed character. Plus, Conroy wanted to play an evil Batman to show off his range with the character. He loved doing Kingdom Come Batman for CW. Maybe he loved being an alright given evil Batman given the fact he reads the scripts he chooses to do. Everyone saw this scene and used it as the anchor to drop their hate boat and park in the shallow water arguments, all to fit within the trendy algorithm of providing nothing of essence to the subject matter at hand. Algorithms are one hell of a drug, kids. They alter products, stifle creativity, restrict freedom, and boost artificial opinions, egos, personalities, and trash. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more, folks, and share this with the algorithm. I hope you enjoyed this game review with an educational lesson blended in it.